There's some ancient Buddhist wisdom that has some shockingly relevant things to say about life's two biggest moments, birth and death. Today, we're going to unpack how to approach these profound boundaries with, of all things, compassion and a clear head.
So let's just start with the big question, right? When you're standing at these two massive turning points, welcoming a new life or saying goodbye to one, what is the best thing we can actually do? It's a question that everyone, everywhere has to face.
All right, let's start at the very beginning, with birth. According to this sutra, what we do in those first few moments of a child's life can literally echo through their entire future. I mean, that's a pretty heavy responsibility when you think about it. The idea here is that the whole vibe, the spiritual energy of the environment a child is born into is incredibly important. It's not just about making sure they're physically healthy. It's about building this foundation of positive energy, what they call merit, that's going to support them for the rest of their life. And what I love about this is how practical the advice gets. On one hand, it's a huge no to things that cause harm. Like big celebratory feasts where animals are killed. The text says that just creates negative vibes for both the mom and the baby. But on the other hand, it gives us a clear yes list. Fill the space with goodness, read sacred texts, chant the names of compassionate beings, and just generally keep things pure and calm. And they even give us a number to work with. The sutra says that chanting the name of a bodhisattva, that's a being of immense compassion, 10,000 times for a newborn is so powerful, it can actually dissolve their past negative karma and maybe even help them live a longer, healthier life. It's like this incredible act of spiritual protection. Okay, so let's shift to the other bookend of our lives, the moment of death. Just like with birth, there's a final, unbelievably powerful gift that the sutra says we can give to someone as they're passing away.
So here's the core advice. The very last thing a person hears should be a sacred name, like that of a Buddha. And this isn't about judging how they lived. It doesn't matter if they were a saint or a sinner. This is said to work for anyone. The idea is that this sacred sound gets imprinted on their consciousness at its most vulnerable moment, bringing peace and clarity. It's also believed to act like a spiritual shield, pushing away any negative energies and guiding them toward a better place. And this quote just hits it home, doesn't it? The text is crystal clear. Giving someone this kind of spiritual support at the end is worth so much more than any amount of money or property you could leave them. It's a gift that goes beyond this world.
Okay, time for a pivot, because you might be thinking, hells, malevolent spirits, what does that have to do with my life? Well, this is where this ancient text turns into an amazing psychological roadmap. The key to understanding this is a concept called karmic force. The best way to think about it is like the momentum of your habits. It's that powerful, usually unconscious pull that keeps you stuck in the same old loops, doing the same things over and over again, whether they're good for you or not. And here is where it all clicks. The sutra talks about people who manage to climb out of a state of suffering, a hell, only to get sucked right back in by that old momentum. I mean, does that not sound exactly like modern life? It's the yo-yo diet. It's the cycle of addiction and relapse. It's getting stuck in the same kind of bad relationships again and again. This ancient metaphor is a perfect picture of how our habits can trap us. So let's talk about one of the biggest fears people have about death: judgment. Those scary images of underworld judges waiting to punish us? Well, the sutra has a completely radical take on who these judges really are. We all know the popular image, right? These terrifying beings just waiting to throw the book at us. But the sutra pulls back the curtain and reveals something incredible. These judges, like the Ghost King, are actually beings of deep, profound compassion. They're not there to punish you. They're there to help. And get this, you can even see them as a reflection of your own inner conscience. And that leads to this mind-blowing insight. Judgment isn't something that happens to you from the outside. It's the totally natural, internal process of your own mind having to face the sum total of your life's actions. The only judge you're ever really going to face is the one you've been building every single day with your own thoughts and actions. So, what do we do with all of this? How do we take these huge ideas and actually use them? Let's bring it all together into a practice of compassion we can start right now. The ultimate goal here is something called formless compassion. This is where you help people just because. There's no ego involved. There's no little voice in your head saying, look at me, I'm being so helpful. It's just a pure, natural impulse to care. It's the kind of state a Buddha is in. And that breaks down into some really simple, doable steps for us. First, if you know someone who's sick or dying, just offer them comfort. And if it feels right, offer them these peaceful, sacred sounds. Second, when you hear about a birth or a death, make a conscious choice to be compassionate instead of taking part in any tradition that causes harm. And finally, and this might be the toughest one, take a real, honest look at yourself. What are your own negative loops? And can you be open enough to get some guidance from a text like this, from a friend, from a teacher, to finally break free? Which brings us to one last question to leave you with. The text talks about a master of life. After everything we've looked at today, from the power of our habits to our own inner judge, the real question is, who or what is the master of your life? Is it your unconscious patterns, or is it your conscious, compassionate choices? That's the decision this ancient wisdom is asking us to make for ourselves.